Hey guys, how you doing? I am sort of a weekend warrior and kind of a DIY guy. Do a little bit of everything: woodworking, mechanic stuff, fixing cars. And recently, I bought my girlfriend a used car, and it needed a little bit of work. So that was just kind of like a project that I was interested in. So I discovered a couple of things in the process of fixing the car up, and I wanted to share them with you. The most major thing, pretty much, is my discovery of the pick your own part junkyards. These are junkyards, they're all across the US, and you can basically, for $2, you go in and they've got, just a whole sea of cars that you can just go and get parts from that you're missing off of your car probably, and they're really really cheap, and it's a great place to get things that you really can't get on eBay. And really you can get parts for for next to nothing. Another good secret about these is that the one chain that has yards like nationwide, they actually have a 50% off day every month, and that's the day when you want to go, because you can get something for next to nothing. Like, what if you buy a used car and you find out, oh, the transmission's dead, or shot, or especially if it's an automatic, you're looking at a really hefty repair bill. But if you can find that car in the yard, a transmission, their normal price I think is it's like $150 or something like that. So on the half off day, that's going to be like $75 plus, core charge and taxes or whatever. But if you just go in there and pull it yourself, if you can do that, obviously, if you can't do that, you wouldn't even be considering doing this. But if you have the skills to do that, that's really great. And you might be saying, what if that transmission has problems too? And yes, that's always a possibility. You can get a warranty for not that much more, like a 25, 30, 40 bucks or something like that. I'm not exactly sure on transmissions, but if that one didn't work, you can bring it back and you can get another one off of another car. So, if you're thinking about buying a used car as a project and fixing it up, I would definitely recommend checking out these yards first and learning, what cars they usually have, you know what I mean? Because it would be really great if you bought a car that you're going to see a lot of. For instance, we bought a 97 Volkswagen Jetta, and there are usually Jettas in the yard. And, there are obviously Civics and Accords and, Nissans and all kinds of things like that. But anyway, what I thought I'd do is, one of the things I figured out as I kept going back and back to the yard is that I really needed a specialized tool bag that was easy to carry, that just kind of had all the tools that were necessary for me to pull anything I really needed off of a car that I was looking for. And I thought I would show you my toolbox or my tool bag, and so you can get some tips on how to set your own one up. So let's do that. All right, so this is my tool bag that I carry. Got it at Harbor Freight for $6 or something. It's really all you need. And when you're going to the junkyards, it's really all about weight. You're going to traipse over the yard for a long time. They're pretty big, and after a while, carrying around a really heavy tool bag is just going to be, it's going to get really tiring really fast. So the lighter, the better. But at the same time, you're going to need tools that will help you get the job done really fast, especially if the sun's out and it's blaring down on you and all that stuff. You want to get in and do it fast. So the best tool I have for that, this is actually my favorite tool in the whole world. This is a Makita impact driver, and it's it helps you get out bolts really really fast. And because it's an impact driver, it'll get the bolts off no matter what. I can't say enough about this tool. And so this is like the heart of my bag. It adds a little bit of weight, but I definitely need it because it's so great. You need a pair of work gloves, obviously. That's a no-brainer. I've got a socket set. Just an old Sears Craftsman socket set. This is like 9 through 15, and then 16 through 19, 20, and then I stuck a 24 on there. I got an adapter for the 3/4 or the 3/8 bits because or sockets, because I have these. You sometimes need these on, you know, like I needed these for the Jetta for some of the bolts. You know, it all really depends on the car that you're looking for parts for. You've probably already disassembled it and you know what it is you're looking for, so you know what tools you need to take with you and things like that, and you get to know your cars, and you'll customize your tool bag for that. But these rails, by the way, are just you know, these were one long rail from Harbor Freight for like 99 cents. I cut it in half and just bent up the corner down here just so they would fit in the bag a little easier, because, you know, like that, it wouldn't really fit too good. So socket sets right there, and just a driver. I've got a 1/2 inch socket set because I just had an extra one, and you know, that I inherited, good old USA one, and you know, that's why I use that. So use whatever you got. Flashlight is helpful. You're gonna go during the day, but sometimes you might need to see into a part of the car, and the sun's going to be casting some harsh shadows, and it's helpful to have a little, you know, pretty bright little flashlight. So that's always good. And then just some basic screwdrivers, is, you know, just to help you get some screws and panels out and things like that. Definitely got to get a little screwdriver like this. This is very important for prying off, you know, interior panels and clips and things like that. Definitely helpful. I think they called it, I heard somebody call this the 11th finger or something like that. So you definitely need one of those. Now, let's talk about wrenches. I keep in my set these wrenches. These are my newest wrenches. They're reversible ratcheting wrenches, and I freaking love them. They're Gear Wrench brand, and I usually, okay, so depending on which car you go for, you know, if you're working on Asian or European cars, you only need metric sets, sockets or wrenches, and if you're going for American cars, obviously you need SAE. And since I was going for Jettas, and I've since gone back for, you know, Hondas and Kias and things like that, so far all I've needed are metric sets. And what I've noticed about cars, like particularly the Jetta, this is the first thing I noticed, is that almost every bolt is either a 10 millimeter or a 13 millimeter, which I thought was great. You know, like it just makes it so much easier. You don't have to search for a number of different wrenches and stuff. You just, you know, almost everything is a 10 or a 13, unless it's really that much bigger. It's some kind of, you know, specialty bolt for holding in something really heavy. So for the most part, you know, the 10 and the 13 are like the most important things that I'm carrying for that car. But then, you know, I've gone back for, like, you know, stuff for my mom's Nissan Altima, and that's going to be like 12s and 14s and 10s. You know, some cars have 3 different bolts that are very common. So that's why I've got the 14 in here. Usually I don't have it, but I've got that. Sometimes you need an 8 just for some miscellaneous things. And I've got a 7 and a 6 just from another set, just because they're not ratcheting, but, you know, you never know. Okay, so more hand tools. What do you call this? An adjustable wrench. Let's just call it that, because the name slips me. Adjustable wrench. This actually goes all the way up to 1.5 inches or 30. I think it's like 38 millimeters. I got this at Harbor Freight. This is just great if you know, obviously, because you don't have to bring those other wrenches from the set. You can just use this for that one time when you got to get that one big thing, that one big bolt off. So this is definitely a must. It's a little on the heavy side, but it's very helpful, very useful. A pair of dikes, side cutting pliers, useful for cutting through wiring looms when you want to get something off, because you don't, you know, in the junkyard, you don't have to go through the trouble of taking, you know, disconnecting the connectors that are like frozen, and it's, you know, the cars are old, and it's like nobody's coming to pull a wiring loom out of one of those cars, or if they do, they'll find another car where somebody hasn't cut things out, but I see it all the time. Everybody just cuts things out and just to get the job done as fast as possible. So these have been definitely very helpful, even when cutting through like hoses and stuff like that I just didn't need. So, and then these are a new addition to the box. These are so helpful for, you know, grabbing those clips on like radiator hoses and slipping them down, and then also for slipping the hoses off as well. These are pretty helpful. So those are good. I used to have a needle nose and then like an adjustable plier. I think, where did I have those? I used to have these two in the bag, and I figured these kind of just do the job of these. So now I just carry this. Carry what you want, you know, whatever you think you might need. A magnet's always good for picking up things that drop. And then I've got some socket extensions. I think this one came with the socket set originally, and I added this one. I forget where I got it from. I got this set of Impact 3/8 extensions from Harbor Freight. Why did I get the Impact one? I think I was probably thinking that, you know, because it is Harbor Freight, they use cheap steel, and Impact steel is actually softer than normal steel because the impact, you know, will tend to like shatter regular steel. So they temper it so that it's softer. So I'm thinking that if I do over torque these, the most that's going to happen is they're going to twist rather than break on me. So that's probably why I got this particular set. But this is just if I need some really long, you know, extension to get down somewhere, which sometimes you do. And it really all depends on your car. Now, the most important thing, obviously, are my bit sets for this. Put this on there, and look how fast that is. You see that? I mean, that just zips bolts right out. And then when you're actually, you know, driving a bolt in, you know, this thing's as loud as hell. It just goes, but it drives the bolt right in super fast. I never use my normal drill anymore. All I use is this thing. So I've got, you know, just the ordinary bits for that. As you can see, a 1, that's a 2, that's a 3, and then flat bits. Then I got a set of Torx, and I actually want to get the same set. I want to get Allen bits. I want to get these Allen bits in this form so that I don't have to carry this heavy thing with me anymore. That'll lighten my load. That's one of the things I'm planning on doing. So that's all good. Good stuff. And finally, in here, we've got a set of converter adapters for the extensions. You know, if I want to convert down to, I actually have a couple of, I've got a 6, a 7, and an 8 1/4-inch bit. I've got 5, 6, 7, and 8 1/4-inch bits. So if I ever need to use those for something and get in down deep or whatever, I've got those. Or if I want to put this on the driver, which actually, here's how I do that. I've got a set of these. This is how I put a bit on to my driver. Just like that. So I use this to just zip a bolt right off, and you wouldn't believe how fast you can take apart a car with just this and a couple of sockets. I've literally taken the entire front off of a Jetta and just disassembled it in just, you know, like a half an hour. It's really crazy. So that's what I got. I've got basically a whole set of those for 1/2 inch, 3/8, and then a 1/4. And the 1/4 actually has the 1/8 on it. I think that was like one of the bits that just fell, but no big deal. And that's like pretty much it. That's all I've got in my bag, and that is all I really need to like do some real damage in the junkyards, you know. And obviously you can customize your bag to your needs. You're going to know what it is you're looking for, and you're going to know that you're not going to need the big sockets, so you can leave those behind. What I like to do is I like to pack my bag for the things that I generally might need every time I go to the junkyard, but if I'm going for something specific, I'll just take out some things and leave them in the car. That way I'm just as light as possible. Like if I know I'm never going to need this one, I'll leave it behind, or, you know, this one or something like that, I'll just leave that behind. And because the lighter, the better, honestly. And that's really it. So yeah, good luck when you go to your junkyard, and have fun.